I've done a few videos on the inside arc, but in my first one, I did say Koga wasn't ready for the inside. And now that we're a few chapters later, we had Seki versus Okubo. My opinion hasn't actually changed. I still think Koga isn't ready, power-wise, to go to the inside. However, Koga's clearly going to the inside, so we clearly have to look at this from another perspective. The first perspective is Seki's perspective. Seki is basically telling Koga to go without thinking too hard about it, because if he does end up thinking too hard, he might end up missing the opportunity to save or help his friend, which is understandable, right? A lot of people can kind of agree with the heart of what Seki is saying. However, the reality, or the more harsher reality you could say, is the fact that Koga is putting his life in danger heavily. You have Oma saying that, yeah, I wouldn't even fuck with these areas, right? Back in his, youthful days. And even now he kind of recognizes them as a threat. But you kind of get the sense that everyone is like, yeah, look, we really don't want to fuck with the inside, but we kind of have to check out what's going on with Ryuki here, right? Like, we kind of have to. So Koga going in to a situation like that isn't really appropriate. Adults in this entire room, why are you telling this kid to risk his life like this? However, I think this actually says something far more about what Koga's role will be in the story. What am I trying to say when I say this? The fact that Koga is going to this arc means that there's something in this arc, something in the inside that specifically needs Koga. And the only thing we know that would probably need Koga is not some big bad guy that Koga has to defeat. Like, Koga versus the Connector isn't on the list of things that I am, expecting. I'll probably do a few crazy theory videos, but I'm not expecting something like Koga versus the Connector. But the one thing I am expecting is the meeting between Koga and Ryuki. And I think this is where Koga's role in this entire thing actually boils down to. Ryuki, his own friend. I did allude to the fact that in my chapter review that the reason why Ryuki has probably disappeared in the most dangerous part of the inside more than likely has to do with something bad happening, to him or Mukaku. We do know that Mukaku probably has ties to the worm. Again, I've done a video on that where I talked about the three perspectives of Mukaku and what could actually happen to him and his narrative ties. But Ryuki's clearly going through a very rough time. He has to be, right? Whether it's psychologically or whether it's physically when it comes to fights. And Koga is clearly Ryuki's anchor, right? He's the person that more so saves him from himself and the way that he acts. So Koga has significance in that way and might be the most important person in this entire, I'm gonna call it raid of the inside. Koga's role doesn't actually need to be power, and I think that's what a lot of people might be missing when it comes to Koga going into the inside and essentially doing what he ultimately can do, what is within his own power. Although this will involve Koga actually having to survive the entire ordeal. And I generally do think they're gonna have to put together a pretty good squad to go to the inside to make sure that everything goes down as smoothly as possible. However, my main point being something in this arc, right? We may not know it yet, but something in this arc needs Koga to be there. it could be a Sasuke situation where Ryuki just says, you know what, I'm joining the worms, I'm gonna become the Omega, because Ryuki has yet to achieve his full potential, and this is signified by the fact that his title isn't the Omega. The worms call him the Omega, but whenever he starts fighting, he's known as the Dragon King. So, again, it could be that we have that entire situation going on, but this is specifically tied to character. It's rooted in character, at least in my opinion. I doubt we'll have this crazy fight for Koga, but if we do have it, that's fine as well. It's just that I don't expect, Koga to beat Yan. That's not on my bucket list, okay? If Koga gets his ass handed to him, that is on my bingo card, right? I don't have a bucket list, but I do have a bingo card. So, yeah, that's really it when it comes to this topic. It's very short, basically trying to clear the air to some degree when it comes to understanding why Koga may be in this arc. Because to me, it makes little to no sense why someone who isn't powerful enough to be in this arc, right, probably shouldn't be going to the location that is incredibly dangerous, even for Oma to go there regardless, right? There has to be something else that is in the bag or that's in store for someone like Koga. And hopefully we'll get to see that at some point. But that's the video. Like, sub, all that fun stuff. But for now, take it easy.